All right, there we go. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Actually, yeah. Let me pull that up. Um, how do I pull that up? Right quick. Workplace. No. Google. And the 11th. I traded that. All right. Now we are set. This doesn't have better. I guess it could be. I don't know. Good morning, Lori. Lori. How's your week been? How have you been doing in the markets? Good morning, Donnell. I've taken one trade this week, and it just was one of those trades where I'm like, no. But you know what? I had very low expectations, and I had a very tight stop. I was like, okay, if this thing wants to go, great. But since it didn't have strong catalysts or anything, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna play with it. Today we have a couple of stocks up here on the scan. We have DRMA at 324. We have SPRY at 704. Both of these are medically or yeah, medically they do medical stuff. Uh but looking at their news, DRMA has shares trading higher after the company provided a corporate update and reported its Q1 financial results. So pretty much just put out some money news, how the company is doing overall. And then on SPRY, they reported a FDA advisory committee voted in support of favorable benefit risk assessment for neffy in the treatment of severe allergic reactions, type 1 anaphylactic, including anaphylaxis. Or wait, let me make sure that's it. Anaphylaxis is what I meant to say. So basically, that's like the allergic reaction when you're allergic to like bee stings or eggs or whatever. That's what they're working on. It's up 52%. And we also have DRMA up 72%. And then earlier in the morning, Hour was up a pretty good bit, but has slipped back down to 17% so far. Let me read some of these chats. Lori says, I've been good. Thank you. About GFAI yesterday with stop loss. I wanted to double. Nice. We'll look at that one. GFAI. And then she says, I don't like GETR. GETR. What's that? Oh yeah. That thing's 60 cents. 60 is strong resistance, and it was pumped 2 weeks ago. Today will fall. Yeah, I saw that one up 100%. Not, but huh, I'm like, I don't want to mess with that one. That one's got a higher float and everything, so I'm gonna just let that one peter by itself. Just holding 100 hasn't really moved much this morning. But yeah, that's definitely one I would definitely stay away from on a Friday. I did take one trade yesterday on Pola. Pola, this one right here caught my attention, and I was looking Actually, no, I'm just gonna pull up the recording here. So I got the recording here of yesterday's trade, and this level on the daily chart around the 137 was the point that I was looking at. One, there was huge orders sitting on the bid at 137. And also during the 15 minute, if you look on the 15 minute here from yesterday, you can see where it came down to this level before and tested. The only issue with trading these lower price stocks is support and resistance does not bounce like, if you're trading a higher price stock. Higher price stock, it hits that support and it gives you, 10, 20, 30 cent bounce off of support, especially obvious support. And that was my issue yesterday with Polar. It came down to this level, and I'll go ahead and fast forward it. I was looking around, looking for it to test that level and kind of get through it. It pushed through that level, which is what I like to see, and I entered. Now, that was my entry right there when you see the P pop up. That's my entry, and I'm in there with, at that time, I had 2,000 shares right there at the 137, right on the bottom. Then it came up and I was like, okay. And I added some more around here. It kept holding at 137. I saw some huge orders coming in here at 137. So I took 4,000 shares. And so I kept watching it. It kept playing around the 137. So I was like, okay, keeps holding this 137. I may end up adding some more. So I kept watching it around 137. It pushed down a little bit and I added 500 more shares on this little dip, looking for it to continue. And you can look at the level twos. The 130 was where the size just wouldn't break, right down there. And I was like, okay, cool. And after this nice little rundown on the 15 minute, I was like, okay, this thing is looking pretty good. And so it continues to hold 135, and I added some more. You can see my quantity going up. I have 4,775 shares there. And I kept adding right under that 137. And this is when it started to get the pop. Now, this is where I got stupid, right? Because I have 5,000 shares, right? And every cent is 50 bucks. But me being greedy old me, let's see what happens. So it went up 1 cent. I'm up $50. Cool. I was looking for 10 cents of profit, right? I had my limit orders, and you'll see me put my limit orders out from 137. It would be 147 for a 10-cent profit, right? So I'm waiting. It continues to play around the 137, continues to play around, and it fakes down a little bit. And I'm like, okay, as long as it holds this, at that time, the bottom here was 133. I was like, that's where my stop was going to be. That's where my mental stop was, but that's where my hard stop was going to go in if this thing started to act funny. And so I see this thing just play around, stay right around that 35, 137. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if this price level is something that is good, people will come in and buy at this level and protect my entry. So it continues to play. I give it some more time. Continues to play. And eventually it almost breaks down. And I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll go ahead and get ready to stop out if it breaks down this level that's still sitting out here on the 130, right? So it continues to play, gets a little green here, and it's taking forever in this trade. I mean, I'm like 137 should have broke by now. I don't know about this. And I'm looking over here on the hour chart over here, and you can see this huge descending. We can see the shorts are winning, and I'm just looking for the reprieve cover. That's all I'm looking for, that little pop-up, or so I say. And so if it plays around 137, plays around, and finally starts popping, right? And this is where I'm up 300 whatever dollars. It's only a 6-cent win. I'm looking for 10 cents, right? 10 cents, ready to go. And so it pops up there 40s, and I'm like, I'm just gonna let it do its thing, and it gets shoved all the way back down to the 137. This is where I was like, okay, this thing may be super weak at this point. I don't know if I can trust this stock anymore, because if it's a good if it's a good jump like that, it'll keep going. And so it gets pushed back down to the 137, which was my entry. I'm still holding. I'm not that out of it because it's above my break even, right? And so it's just kind of taking its time, taking its time. And I'm like, I'm going to give it time to actually open a candle above the 140s. That's what I was looking for. Open a candle above 140s. It starts coming down here. And again, I'm like, okay, this is true weakness now. Looking at how it's got pushed back down to the 137, and I'm not liking it. So give it a little bit of time, waiting for it to. Now this is where I put in my stop loss as well at the 33, at the 133. So that will be a 3-cent risk. That's $150 on 5,000 shares. And so you're gonna see that stop a S pop up here when I put my stop in at the 133 right here. So had my stop in there ready to go, 3-cent risk, and just letting it play above that risk. And it ends up going back up to the 137, getting another push there, but just could not go. 137 just being stubborn. And I'm looking for this thing to have an open candle above 137. And at this point, I moved my stop up right at break even at the 136 because I was like, okay, if this thing snaps down, I need to be out. Because the way the 137 is holding resistance, I don't want to play with it, right? And so, as you can see right here, my stop price, 136 for 5,000 shares, already ready to go. Looking for this thing to either push or get me out. And it just could not push. And it broke down right there. And it broke down right at break even. Now, this was a good feel because I only lost 1 cent. It was 1 cent of slippage there that I got. So it was a $45 loss overall. And I'm okay with a $45 loss because, you know, in the overall picture, if every trade that I'm taking is giving me $200, $300, I'm looking forward to the next, 50, 100 trades, and I know what I'm looking for. And on this one, I just really expected this thing to get up a little bit more, but it just couldn't. So whatever. I just let it go and didn't even worry about it anymore. And it did end up breaking down. So breaking down to the 132s right there, and it ended up actually going up to 150 in power hour. But I wanted it, if it was going to be strong during a midday, the problem is during power hour, they don't have a lot of time left to actually get some real trading from traders that are still in the market. If they're going to go, they'll go earlier in the day because people are interested, especially before lunchtime, right? And so I was looking for it to get up and go before people are ready for lunch. But it did not. It fell back. And so yesterday was a red day of $45.69 there. So whatever. I was frustrated because I was looking for this thing to be strong and I didn't take anything because I was like, I don't want to sell at a low point if it's going to get up, right? But it did not. So I just managed the risk while in the trade. And the news, two things. The news was not the greatest. There were stocks that were doubling and tripling the volume, and this was a sub $2 stock. So usually, based on what I've seen in my trading with sub $2 stocks, I lose majority of times. So I'm like, okay, let me buy as low as I can and keep a tight stop, because if this thing wants to drop down, I don't want to be losing a lot. I can size into this thing because it's cheap, but if it goes against me, I'm out. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut the loss pronto. And I mean, I just had to think through it while I was in the trade. It was doing a lot of wishy-washy stuff, and I was like, okay, you're not gonna be the one today. Okay, I'm gonna keep this stop tight. But this is pretty much what I'm looking for on a higher float stock that is holding some gains on the day. Looking for that pop back up to retest some of those highs, but we just could not get there yesterday due to the environment that it was in. But that was my polar trade from yesterday. And I mean, $45 loss. But like I put in the Discord, I'm like, okay, so I was up 368 and I ended the day down $45. So I gave back a bunch of gains because I was stubborn. I really wanted 10 cents. I really wanted 10 cents. I was like, yo, give me 10 cents, I'll be out. But it's whatever. Another lesson learned, but still green on the month. Um, and just taking my time and trying to stay away from some of those lower price movers because they give you the opportunity to size up. That's the first thing. You're thinking, okay, I can size up. This thing is cheap, and I can get a great trade on this. But overall, the quality and the value of the stock always matters. And also what else is going on in the market always matters. So, you know, I was like, look, if I'm not gonna get 10 cents, I'm not gonna give up 1 cent. you know, I'm like, at this size, 5,000 shares, every cent being 50 bucks. If I lose 14 cents, that's 700 bucks. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not paying those bills like that. I'm not paying somebody else's bills like that. But yeah. Anyway, back up here to what's going on today. Um GETR still going flat. Drama or DRMA up to the 340. Now this is scary. Coming into the open, look, I marked this already. We must have already looked at this at one point because this is already marked. And I didn't put these lines up here today. So it's back up to previous resistance levels that I had marked, I guess, on another day. And the 341s is definitely some clear resistance. If that breaks, what is this, the $4 high for resistance up here on the 4-hour? And maybe a little bit of resistance here. There's a lot of resistance up here, so I would be careful, especially on the open, with it being extended into resistance. I'll be very careful on that one. SPRY hit a top of 932 and is down to $7 now. So we got that. Do we have any other obvious? Wow, look at these. Look at all this resistance on Friday on these tickers. Resistance right here at the 919 that it hit. That's how many tests on that resistance? 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, 5. I mean, that's a lot of testing on that resistance. So I don't know. We'll have to see what it wants to do through the day. But usually I start off with the daily chart. And speaking of the daily chart, let's go over here and look at the daily chart for these. So on DRMA, it is up to the 339. So 339, right? Somewhere up in here. Come on, get it. I'll put it 3. There it is. All right, 339. And I'll extend that to the left. And that's where it is right now. It does have a little bit on the daily chart at the $4. And we can see it has some wicks. It looks like it's a wicky stock, giving back a lot of profit on these days. Even on yesterday, giving back from the 265 to the 194. Definitely presenting wicks. So you have to be mindful of the history of this stock. Of giving back those profits. It may give short-term opportunity though, especially having some volume on the day. Let's see, $5, 6. So yeah, a lot of resistance ahead of that one, and it's got the 200 moving average up here at the 643. So we'll see what happens on that one, but it is super low float as well. Let's look at this float here. DRMA. DRMA. Let's see. Under 1 million shares in the float. Very high insider held or percent held by insiders. Let's go to BAM, drama. No shelf registrations out there on the chart. ERMA. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think that's the way I'm gonna start doing those travel trader videos. I'll do the recap during the live stream and just cut it so I can kind of walk you guys through what I was thinking in the moment instead of doing the no audio on the other ones. I'll just do the recap during the live stream and then just cut it into a shorter video and add it to that playlist. Because I think, you know, talking through it is always a good thing. Talking through the mindset and what I was thinking in the moment. Let's see what else we got here. Insider owning, insider transactions, whatever. It is optionable. It is shortable as well. Let's flip over to SPRY. Look at this daily chart. So we have it's currently at the 689 right in here, right at the top here, and we'll extend that to the left. 689, clear level that has previously caused problems there right under the 7. Has a previous level which looks like it's what, the 5, right around the 595, where it has tested a couple of times down here. So I'd be interested to see what it does if it tries to break down the 6. Other than that, I don't know about these levels up here. I mean, these are just questionable levels. Don't know if it can get up there. We can look at the float real quick on SPRY. SPRY, the float is 42.7 million. It has a higher percentage held by institutions, but still has quite a bit in the insiders. We'll check the other site to see if they match up. SPRY. SPRY does have a shelf registration for this year from last month. And also has a shelf registration from last year as well. So 2 shelf registrations in its back pocket. Let's see. SPRY. Nothing there. SPRY. Okay, so on this float, it's a little bit different. 61.55 million over here on FinViz. Outstanding shares 94 million. It is optionable and it is shortable. Okay, so much lower insider owning on this one, only 10%, and then it says institutional owning 34%. So why is there a mix-up on who's holding the pot here? I don't know. But on the other one, it said 10% for this one and then 34% by institution. So I don't know. That's a little bit of mismatch of data there. We'll see though. It is 8:25. We have 5 minutes to the bell. And we'll be watching. I'm going to get rid of Pola. Pola really disappointed me. Also, Lori had called out GFAI. We've seen this one pop a couple of times. Pretty much every time that there is anything about AI. But she has gotten into this thing low, looking for it to move upward. It had a previous bottom here of the 421-ish. And yeah, she's in there looking for this thing to ride back upwards. Wow, hour just plummeting. And here we go again. Stocks getting their volume doubled and tripled by other things. We got DRMA up here with 9 million. So hours got to do some competing. SPRY almost getting doubled. We'll see if Friday. See, the thing is, most of the times, if Friday pre-market is pretty active, sometimes intraday is kind of dry. And then sometimes if pre-market is just not active, we get these random pop-ups on Friday. I mean, just random. Like, no news. Somebody bought something, or some pump, or some chat rooms pumping a stock, and we get these pop-ups that are like 50, 60, 70%, and it's hard to catch them because they have no volume. They have range, they have the range that we like to see, but no one's really interested, or no big money's interested. Anyway, though, we're gonna see what these want to do. We have less than 3 minutes to the bell. And while we got time, let me look over here and see what these bank stocks are doing. Schwab, I've been waiting for this one to crash out to 45. Ally Bank, Bank of America, waiting for all these nice dividend banking stocks to just fall. Been waiting for the eyes to get off of them too. The volume has definitely receded to normal levels now. Only 100,000 shares traded during pre-market. JP Chase, I'm definitely interested in them. They've been buying up all these failing banks, getting all those assets in their back pockets. Let's see, anything else looking good? Not really. Okay. GBIO, that was that Moderna investment, but it doesn't really have any kind of trend there, just kind of going sideways. Square, down there at the bottom as well. Square has a complete bottom of, looks like, the 50 bucks, holding above the 50. PayPal had a gap down, gap down from 76 down here to the 70s, made its way all the way to the 64s on PayPal. AMPS, Delta Airlines still going sideways. American Airlines down there at 14 bucks. Gold making its way up to try to test the $6 level. Let's see, Mara, Riot, and some oil stocks. NINE, which is 9 Energy, coming down here back to where it was at first, around the 325s. INDO still going flat. We've seen that thing pop a couple of times though. Hustle, another oil stock. Vizu, I believe they were AI or something IT. And then TRVN, we saw this one the other day pop from we saw this one pop. Oh, the market's open. Give me one sec. Let's see what these things are doing. So once GETR starts to fall down the list, we'll go ahead and get rid of it. Only 60 something cents. DRMA, giving up a little bit of the ghost. Looking for who's going to hold against everything else. DRMA has a top up here of the 347 during pre-market. Has a lot of resistance levels up here for shorts to attack. A lot. Let's see what they do. Popping up there, getting to those resistance levels. 350. Will it do a slight break? We've seen this pattern before. We've seen the breakout. It stays above a little bit, and it gets that slam. So if you're going to take the opportunity, definitely take your money off the table if you need to, especially with the news catalyst behind this one. So next level of resistance is up here to 369, and the next one is the 397. This first candle has about 1 million shares traded on it, and it's looking like it's holding for some scalp opportunities here. Little breakout trying to test that 350. Will it go ahead and pop it? 350 touch, 350 pop through. And getting to that next level of the 369s up here. Right at the 370. We'll see what kind of action it does up here at the 370. Keeping an eye on the level 2s as well. Looking for any kind of big sizes going through here. 60s. Let's see what comes at the 69s. Up 9% on the day, though. Biggest mover out of the open. 13 million shares, so it has overshadowed GETR. $14 million shares on the board. And it is now doubling SPRY and hour. Doubling and even tripling. So DRMA is going to be the starter of the day. Let's see what kind of action they come with. Looking at the, there's a 64s. Jumping over here to the daily chart real quick. Have 394 clear resistance up here at 394. So we'll see if it can push all the way up there. That'll be a nice little push up towards the 4. Just waiting. Can it hold up the 50s is the question. Where are those big sizes around here? 6,000. See some green on the tape. A lot of green. People buying above the ask. Buying for higher. Look, they're probably looking for that 375. $367. Some red coming on the tape now. A lot of red. There's some red right through the 350s. So it did get up to the first level of resistance, but just didn't have enough gusto to get all the way through it. Bottom of this candle is looking like the 325s. Okay, so hour is one of the few that's holding up. It just needs some more volume behind it. But DRMA still holding the top spike, trying to get back up to the 350s. 11,000 shares right there at the 340s. There's some big share size around the 340. Let's see what that does. 340, keep seeing those 10,000 shares there. There's another one. Lot of size coming in 340. Don't really know which way it's trying to go though. We have the next size out here on the level 2 at 330 with 11,000 shares sitting out there. 330 is pretty close. So if it starts to break that down, that's a lot of longs getting crunched in there if it doesn't hold up. It is below VWAP right now. And we know below VWAP, a lot of retail will give up on it. So VWAP is at the 347 right now. It needs to get back above that to reassure them. Because if it gets back over 47, they're going to, oh my goodness, I need to be back in. Okay. The only problem is now VWAP can be an entry point for shorts right under the 350. GETR taking back over on the day in volume. 17 million or 18 million shares traded now in DRMA, losing in the volume battle. $330 was where that other size was. It's gone now. There was 11,000 shares there, and looks like it's just falling through the 330 quite easily. Let's see if 330 holds. Can we see 330 up here on the tape? 26, 27s. No. 330 getting plowed. Hmm. All right, so yeah, we'll have to see if anything else wants to get a little bit of volume behind it. Let's jump over here to the scans real quick. So this is what it's on my scans. The top percent gainers, GETR and DRMA. We have Tesla pushing up behind DMRA. SPR, everything else is under 10 million shares traded. So they got to compete. They got to get in here, get active. PACW still falling, continues to end up on the scans every single day. I want JP Morgan to go ahead and buy them out and get them out of the environment. These felon banks have no business getting traded. They're dangerous, and people still be going long on them, which is insane. Hour candle still playing around. 8 million shares. So the next level that they'll probably be looking for is this 289 level here on the 15-minute. Had a lot of what looks like consolidation in here right below the $3. We'll see what happens there. Had a little bit of indecisiveness on the hour chart in here, 289. So I would like to see it come below this 290.89 point and then start and make sure that it holds the 270 right above the 275s. But to do that, you got to wait for some candles to close, because this candle is definitely not done. We don't know if it's going to pop back up here to indecision at the 330s or if it's going to stay down here around the bottom. We have about 6 minutes left on this 15-minute candle for it to close and kind of show us where it wants to go. And I'm guessing what's holding it up right here, people are buying right here for the re-entry of this zone. Or that should have been support. The re-entry of this short-term zone here. And they were buying right at that 314 thinking it'll hold. So we'll see if they're right or if it wants to continue down, because the candle has not closed yet. And this is how a lot of people get trapped. They get in here and they're like, okay, this looks good for right now, but how much time is left on the candle? What all can the candle do from here? Because the more time is left on the candle, the more opportunity for crazy stuff to happen. And 5 minutes is a long time in the market to be holding something, especially something that's already up. So we shall see how it holds this 314. There's a little pop off that level, getting some buyers interested on that re-entry. Where are the big sizes? We're not seeing those 10,000 share positions though. Where that size at on the level 2s? We're seeing 400 and 1,000. That is not encouraging. I know the longs that are reading this level 2, they're like, where are the big boys? That's what you want to see. You want to see that 15,000 come in there, 20,000, something like that, and a lot of green on the tape. People buying above the ask with big size. And we're just getting little spurts of green on the tape. Not good. And I don't know how many of you guys actually trade with the tape, but I use everything I use everything that's in my that's free. If they give me the tape to read, I'm gonna learn how to read it. I'm gonna learn how to, see the manipulation in the tape, where those interesting levels and all of that. But let's see, where are those longs to come in here with big size? There's a 10,000 shares on the ask. I don't know if that's longs. Let's see. Can we get a whole bunch of buying above the 330s? 330s was the point that was previous support. So going back and either creating resistance here at 330 or trying to hold here. 331. It's not a lot of size there. 29s, 28s. Big pops, man. They're trying to keep this thing out. So I'm guessing the level that they'll be using as a bottom is 315 now. So that's a 15-cent risk if they bought up here. Donnell is out here getting lunch money and dinner money and everything else. Taking the opportunities in here. 330s. So we're seeing it get over 330s. Where is that size though? Still not seeing the big size here. 2 minutes left on this candle. It's going to be closing. Oh, there's a 5,000. There's a little bit bigger size at 330. Can we see 10,000? 31s. Just not big enough. Looking for 10, 15,000. We're looking for abnormal numbers on the books. And then we're looking for those numbers to fill either above the ask or below the bid to show us which way it wants to go. There was a lot of red right there. They're doing some transactions under the bid there. A little bit of selling. 325. Getting tested again, getting slammed through. 325s. SPRY is pushing up a little bit, but still not competing, still getting doubled pretty much by both of these stocks above it. Needs more volume. I'm seeing GSIT. If y'all are seeing that, GSIT on the scans. And yeah, that's the only new one. Up 73%. Look at GSIT there. Big pushes. Let me look at the news on this one. GSIT, no news on today. Had news on the 3rd of May. Announced the physical fourth quarter 12 information. Had some earnings reports back in January, but no real news. Now remember, Friday we get these random pop-ups. Random pop-ups. Now I said this before, they pop up like 50-60%, and it's hard to catch them because I mean they've got to compete on the day, and they're already extended. So we'll see how this one plays out. Of course, it's still getting doubled by a couple of these other ones and tripled. So I'll be very careful on that one to see where it lands. But it is the biggest mover on the day, up 56% since the open. Let's actually go and look at the float and everything on this one. GSIT. GSI Technology. Float is 17.0 million. Has a pretty good chunk of insiders. Almost 30% there, 21%. Not a huge deficit there. Profile, what do y'all do? They're into semiconductor industry based in California. Designs, develops, markets semiconductor memory solutions to networking and industrial, medical, aerospace, and military consumers in the United States, China, Singapore, Germany, Netherlands, and internationally. Okay. Okay, cybersecurity, drug discovery, all of this nice stuff. Let's go and look at your stats again one more time. They are operating in a net negative cash flow. So we'll see what they want to do here. Any kind of news on today, 9 days ago? No really huge news. So this one's just one that's kind of just getting a nice little pump today. SPRY jumping up here as well with 12 million, but these things just cannot compete in volume, man. We got to see GETR fall through the floor. It's still holding the top spot on the day. Drama did end up getting down to or retesting this area, which was a little bit of consolidation. Continues to try to hold this 315 level, but again, it's gonna need to find a floor. It's gonna need to find a floor. It's gonna be a hard buy for anybody just trying to buy behind this pattern. Got a big push down, what, 370 down here to the 330s. It's a 40-cent push down. So that's the start of momentum downwards. And so it needs to find a floor somewhere down here. I don't know if that floor will be under the 275s or right here in this this level of indecision at the 289. But I will wait for these 15-minute candles to close to give you the full story there. SPRY coming back up on the 15-minute 850s, looking like the spot of resistance. And then 922 resistance. But these are holding green. One thing that I do hate sometimes on some of these days is that things that are doing worse are outperforming things that are looking better. It's like this thing's down 17%, 18% out of the open, but it's still outperforming in volume. More people are interested in throwing their money into this than into SPRY. More people are interested in throwing their money into drama than SPRY so far, right? It's crazy. But we'll see who will hold. GSIT still playing around the 280s. It's really extended this jump from 175 up here. So it's about a dollar jump there with no news. Tesla is the only thing that has beat GETR so far in volume, up 24 million shares in the volume, which is kind of bad with it being such a high float and taking the initiative on the day. Let's see what else we got. BBVA. Everything's under 10 million. So the top three here, and then GETR. Okay. Mr. Drama. SPRY coming back up and testing right at the $8 here. Looking like it wants to try a breakout of the 8. We'll see. Or not a breakout of the 8. Maybe the 825s. May need a little bit of pullback. I don't know. On the hour chart, though, it's still within this range. This range is the 828 at the top side for resistance. And the bottom side of this is right around the 675s. So the question is, does it actually want to break out of this flat range that it's in right now on the hour? And right here on this would be a little bit of support here on the 4-hour. Support if it can continue to play within this previous resistance area. Hour has gone and ate the dirt. So it is no longer in play for me. Somebody else can trade it. GSIT looking like it wants to try for another test of the $3. 280s, 293s. We'll see what that $3 wants to look like. Kind of hard to gauge that one. So we're seeing a lot of range bound stocks here. So we got a 5,000 share position. Oh, a lot of green just came through. Okay. Something happened above the ask there. And the thing is, it's kind of hard judging the green, the above the ask or below the bid, because just like buyers can buy above the ask, sellers can be getting better prices above the ask, or not better prices. Let me think. Yeah, better prices above the ask. So you can see that green come through, and it could be a seller coming in above the ask. Because buyers or longs, like, we want things to go up, but the best price for us is at the bid or lower. And for sellers, the best price is at the ask or higher. So you got to be careful with that green, seeing a lot of green on the tape. Could be a nice seller coming in. It depends on the positioning of the stock, though, for real. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes these things just go parabolic, and there is actually buyers above the ask continuing to push it up. So there is 825s, another test there on SPRY. GSIT did break over the $3 very quickly, not really giving a whole lot of pullback time, but it is coming up on the volume level. Over 10 million now shares traded. SPR jumping up there to 850. So it is, oh wow, quick test out of this range here. Look at that push out of the range. Wow, wow, wow. Top side is the 921 here for a little bit of resistance on the hour, clear resistance. And we already have that marked up here on the 4-hour. Let's see what it wants to do. Will it get snatched back within this range? We do not want to see this thing back under, what, 825? That's going to be bad news bears. Needs to stay above that 825 level. Or it may be a true range bound stock. It may be giving some nice range within this area all day. GSIT back down, testing the $3. DRMA kind of losing on the per candle volume. Not as much, not as active here. This candle only a million 400,000 shares there traded. And if we look at something like SPR, we're seeing 6 million shares traded on this one candle. So losing the per candle volume battle there. And this thing's going up, and it may, I don't know if this thing's going to double top or if it's strong enough to go ahead and jump through this rooftop here up to the 915s. Very strong, though, getting out of this range. So we'll see if it can pull back and hold this range here of the 826. Or it may be ready to go right now. I mean, I don't know. I think it just went into a halt. Yep. Went into a halt there. SPRY halted. So we're going to see what that thing can do. That thing is strong. Exited this range and went up and tested that top side of the 925. GSIT still kind of in the same range and not really getting a push. I guess maybe people are going to go and research SPRY and see what's going on with it. It's up 103%. So it would be one of the most obvious stocks on the day just from percent gain perspective. So let's see what will be the next level. So it's been up here multiple times testing this 921 level. What's going to be the reaction at this level? We saw it get halted. Is it going to open much higher? We just got to see what's going to happen. It pushed out all of this previous resistance here. This thing got pushed from 925 down to $6 and now has pushed $3 back in the opposite direction. It is strong. It is strong. But we got to do some more analysis to see which way it wants to go. GSIT is still pushing up, looking like it wants to go to the 325s as well. Up 81%, 13 million shares traded on it. And me and Donnell, we were talking yesterday about those sub $2, and then the next day, Donnell's getting blessed with something that is well within his wheelhouse, you know. Nice $9 stock, good value, pushing through those support levels, pushing through being strong, you know. And this one, now look at this level that it came to in intraday. This is kind of what I was looking for yesterday on that sub $2 stock. Had a nice level that it tested here on the 15-minute that is clear. Had a nice bottom of the range right here that is clear. Hit that, tested below it, jumped back and went. I mean, that's, you know, that support held. I mean, it found support, clear support after shorts were winning here on the hour candle, and they got absolutely massacred back up to the upside. And let me see what time this thing's supposed to be opening. What stock was that? That was SPRY. SPRY halted at the 9:55.54, so should be opening up in 5 minutes. So that should be 10:54 on the dot. Yeah, so drama's definitely losing out when it comes to attracting people on the day. Going back down, wow, quick fall there to $3. Back into this range, people losing faith. If this thing breaks down, what, the 280s here, it's gonna be kind of nasty. Getting a nice little buy up out of this range though, holding hard and heavy. Wow, that was a big pop up from 295s back up here, but it's still under VWAP, so gotta wait for that candle to close. I don't trust it. GSIT did get up there, and did it get to it got to the 330s, a little bit past the 325s, and now finding a little bit of resistance, but it is coming on up. Tesla still holding the top spot in volume though with 31 million shares. Let me pop Tesla up here so I can just look at it over here and see what it's doing. Tesla #1 spot, and then drama. So new 15-minute candle just opened, and we should see this one opening up on the 54 here if this is a 5-minute halt. SPRY, about 15 seconds left. $15 seconds left. All right, I'm about to get an open here. SPRY opening a little bit higher, giving a little bit of a dip, but it is strong. Let's see what this dip does for it. Ooh, looking like it wants to. Does it want to get back below, testing this previous resistance right there for that dip? Ooh, there's somebody trying to keep it up here. Oh, there's a little dip through it. There's a little action. They're buying it up. They're buying it right there. Oh, they're buying it up in this section. Let's see what it wants to do back up to the top side. Back over the 1 or the 920s. Let's see a pop here. 920. Has previous resistance right here that it's coming down to. So it tested two resistance levels, 1, 2, and getting a pop right above this 850 level. Can it get back above the $9? Whole dollar support here forming. Okay, getting a full test through both levels of support. Broke down just a little bit. And this thing has some range, so be careful. This thing is crazy. Of 847 here, 17,000 shares that it's holding right here at 847. And this thing is taking a lot of time. Usually when they come out of halts, if they're gonna pop, it's fast. It's fast, it's fast, it's fast. It doesn't take a whole lot of time for it to figure out what it wants to do. So that is something to keep in mind. We'll see what this thing wants to do though. It does have a lot of range, and it has a level at the 847 which is decreasing. It was 17,000, now down to 11,000. So will it break down that 47 here, or will it be able to hold? Will this be a true range bound stock and it breaks all the way back below 820 though? So many questions to be asked. Only up 21% so far right now. So definitely gave back quite a bit of its gains. Still 21 million on the board traded. So it did break down that 847, that level that was supposedly supposed to hold, and becoming a true range bound stock, returning to the range. So that to me is weakness. When it returns to the range, if it does all this to break the range and then returns, I'm like, man, you gotta stop playing like that, bro. You gotta stop playing. But it's coming back. VWAP is currently at the 790s. Tested down two previous resistance levels that we watched become resistance, that broke, and now it's back through them. Okay, GSIT still around the $3 as well, still up 74% on the day. We see that DRMA definitely got back up there to VWAP. Became a nice short entry, being on the previous test of this level of the 340 or 330, and got to push right back down to this indecision level. So they're gonna either make this indecision level a decision, whether it's going to be weak or strong or actual support, or fall through and become resistance. So this is why we wait for those candles to close. It had a huge jump up here, which probably trapped a lot of longs from this 293 up here to the 323. They were like, oh my goodness, this huge buy up, let me go ahead and buy. But looking out here on the hour chart, the larger time frame, we see that 330 is obvious. It would have needed to break that 330 and hold that level on the hour for it to be confirmation, and it just didn't give that. So now we're seeing it test back down, and the thing is, strong stocks don't return to levels. You know, you find a good level, you buy at it, and as it moves up, too many aggressive buyers keep that level going up, keep it going up. This is weakness in my opinion. So you got to wait for it to find a new floor. SPRY still holding this level. So interesting. Has about 10 minutes left on this candle here. SPY, look at the SPY. Taking a little trip down memory lane. Getting a nice drop. So we're looking at stocks that are continuing up even though the SPY is going down, right? These stocks are up 80-something% holding against the SPY, against what the SPY is doing. So these I would consider strong stocks because, you know, I mean, they are They're not even being interrupted by all of this nonsense out here on the spy. Let me actually look at the news on the spy and see what's going on. They just dropped a consumer sentiment report from Michigan. Okay, that has nothing to do with everybody. Debt ceiling standoff ending will push Fed to restart quantitative easing. White House source says President Biden plans to meet with congressional leaders on debt ceiling Monday or Tuesday. U.S. import price looks to be up. What, 0.40% or 0.04% or something like that? 0.04. The U.S. is having trouble cutting Russia off from computer chips. U.S. stock futures, okay. Okay, SPY doesn't have any kind of crazy, well, it's got news, but not anything crazy. GSIT coming back under $3. SPRY 24 million shares traded on it. Okay, is it going to be able to reclaim this 850 level? We got a couple of minutes till this candle closes, but it's definitely taking its time. Right around this, there's some size coming around 830 again. 830, 9,000 or 19,000 shares there at the 830s. Remember the previous level that broke was 847, right under the 850. So will enough buyers be able to come in here and keep it over the 850 is the question. And it has now caught up with DRMA. So about to pass DRMA in 2 million shares. I kind of want to see it retest this 830 because it got 20,000 shares sitting out there. Wonder will that grow if it retested. There's the 830 coming up. 830 test. Will this drop? 18,000. Knocked a little bit off, but jumped right back up to almost 20,000 again. So that level definitely held there at the 830. There's the 850s. Holding up there. 5 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, and it is holding up the 850. So my question is, can it open a candle above 850? Can it open the next 15-minute candle above 850? Okay, coming back down to the 30s, the 830 again, another test. 830 hard test there again. Still holding strong. And now increasing size there at 830 to 21,000. There's the 50s. We still got 3 minutes left on this candle though. Less time means more opportunity on this candle. Let's see what it does. Drama taking his time around this, not getting a good bounce out of here off of this about to break down about to break down 275. Tesla still grinding higher, about to, looks like it's about to double a couple of people here, trying to get up to that 50 million on Tesla in volume. This thing is testing 830 a whole lot, man. Kind of scary. Does it actually want to drop through it? Based on the higher time frames, it still looks bullish. Big green candles on the 4-hour, big green candles on the hour, but we'll see if this sentiment, this dropping sentiment goes through to the hour and the 4-hour. Have to get that confirmation. So falling back into the range, falling back down to $8. Crash that 830 quickly. And now, just that quick, it is overtaking DRMA with another 100,000 shares. It'll be over the top of it. Okay, there it goes. DRMA losing its positioning. And GSIT is making its way up as well. Still holding this VWAP up here. Still up 75% on the day. Still the biggest mover. SPRY, I believe from what we're seeing, it looks like it's going to be range bound between this 675 and this top side of the 824. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they will play the range. When it comes down here, they'll buy, get the move back into the range. Now, it may not break out, but it has a high chance to play within this range. And you can get, I mean, with this, the size of this count, let's see, this hour just alone was 649 up to the 9 something. So it's $3. So getting 10 cents shouldn't be that hard, right? If you buy at the appropriate level. Again, we are now 830 is looking like it wants to become resistance. Does it want to become resistance? We got 14,000 at the 830 right now. There's some 830s continue to try to hold. Trying to get back over the 850s. And now that 850 level is becoming a little bit of resistance. GSIT continue, looks like it wants to fall as well. So the level that I would be looking for, I want to see it come down to this 674 and start to find a floor here. That would be an interesting level, seeing that it's kind of in a range. Now, and the way that you would do it, you'll manage your risk. Let's see, this is 674. You would have to manage your risk right below the range. You don't really want to break too far out of the range, but you want a good test of the bottom side of this range for a move back up. But that's going to take some patience, patience, and that some people do not have, to sit there and just be like, okay, because you never know how long it may take. It may go sideways for a while and then slam down to that range, and in that instant, you may miss the trade. Okay, SPY coiling off the bottom, hit the 411 and just kind of sitting here now. DRMA making a decision in an indecisive area. So for the shorts, this one probably looking pretty good. Making this decision needs to break down the 275s. Now this one doesn't look like it's in a range. It just looks like it's got a lot of momentum downwards. So we'll see what it wants to do through this 275 support, or so-called support. We don't even know if that's support yet. We know that a previous high was put out on the 4-hour around the 260s, right around the 250s. So not looking great. Being tripled, or not tripled, being about to be doubled by Tesla today. Losing out on the views. So the struggle begins on the day. Again, right at the 830. Seeing 30s on the tape, but indecisive candle overall on the 15-minute. Good morning. Good morning, Jim. In here with the coffee. We're watching, for the most part, watching SPRY and DRMA. They both had some strong opens, but SPRY just has some massive range. Easy to lose a lot if you buy in the wrong area. For some reason, it is in love with this VWAP right here of the $8. VWAP is at 801. So I want to see what kind of action will happen on a breakdown of the 8. GSIT touched VWAP and has popped back up to 307s. Still up 76%, but no news. Drama finally going down. Will it go ahead and break down the 275s? Huge fall off in volume. First candle had 9 million shares, and now this one's down to about 600,000. Again, 830s was up there and it just got slammed through on the level twos. I was just about to say there's some weird action at the 830s, but yeah, it disappeared. Here's the $8 test. Let's see how big this break will be. Will this cause some fear in the retail? And the new level here, down here at the 650s, is where would be a questionable point if it can form this as a new floor. Just because it touches it doesn't mean it's a floor. It needs to kind of hold it, just kind of curl off of it. But that was a nice test. The low of this candle was 788, so it did get a good test through the $8. Can it continue? This candle will be closing in 8 minutes. The hour candle will be closing. A new hour will form. So the question is, will the next hour open above 825? To hold out of this range? Okay, GSIT going insane. It was at $3 and has pushed up here to the 387s now. So it is also catching up with drama. 2 million shares away from drama and 4 million shares away from SPRY. I say drama, DMRA. It's not really called drama. That's crazy. So ripped from 175 up here to $3, 3 up to almost 4. So where would be an obvious level for it to pull back to? Looking at this 4-hour, I mean, 250 is probably going to be done for. Let me go look at the daily chart. So had a previous level up here at the 428s. That's still a long way. Yeah, that's hard. It's not obvious. I like stuff that's obvious. Okay, drama finally, or it's still sitting at the same spot, but definitely bearish on the day. Okay, so we have 6 minutes left on this thing. It's trying its hardest to stay above 825. So GSIT is about to pass drama in volume. 200,000 more shares traded. It'll go ahead and jump over it. Most of my trading is heavily influenced by volume, if you can't tell. I want to see where the people are. All right, so drama just dropped. And now GSIT is on a mission for SPRY. Only 1 million shares to catch up with it. So this is multiple failures of this level. This thing is tested up to here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So what is the probability of it returning to this great resistance level? I think that's a low probability, and that's why probably the volume is falling off on it. This one is clear skies on GSIT pretty much. I mean, it doesn't even have an obvious support or resistance. GSIT through a high up there, the 383s. It's finding its way down now. VWAP is, I mean, maybe the only thing you can really use at this point to trade it. Bottom side right under the $3. GSIT about to overtake SPRY in volume. 200,000 or 100,000 shares now. Running it down. And there it is, overtaking. Drama, I'm not too concerned about anymore. I think that one's pretty much out of the competition. Just looks like it's got a lot of bullish potential. I mean, a lot of bearish potential downwards. So we did get an open above. Did this thing open above the 825s? Yeah. So expecting to push up here through this level of the 850. Let's see. I can get 11 shares here. 11 shares, but this thing has already hit resistance. I mean, how high can it go? Where will be the resistance here? Got the open above 825. Will buyers come in aggressively or does it want to test down? It's already tested down here to the 780s. So it needs to break down to 8 again. That's going to be weakness. That's going to be big weakness. GSIT opening right at the top side of the body of this candle of 350. Let's see if that continues to be resistance now. That people have had time to go and read the actual news and see that there isn't any. And SPRY holding out of this previous level. But the problem is this is the beginning of this candle. So, you know, it's going to have to make a decision here. Continues to come back into this range. Shorts getting more and more aggressive as it continues to play around the 830. And as they get more aggressive, is it a wise choice for them to get more aggressive, or are they about to get blown up here? Who knows? Drama getting a short little bounce here, but I mean, at this point, no one's really looking at it. Only up 45% when you got a 64, 110, and an 86 up here. No one cares about DRMA anymore. SPRY holding up in this dip. Holding that 825 up. But the 850 still being a little bit of strong resistance. And now on the level twos, you're not seeing those big sizes anymore. They backed off. Look, this is down to the 808s. 10,000 shares at 808. So where are the big sizes up here around the 850? They're not there. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Those big sizes are disappearing around this level. So I don't like that. I think this thing has a lot of potential to slam down. GSIT continuing to stay under the 350s. A lot of potential to slam here. Okay. Well, anyway, I haven't seen my particular setup today. Nothing really came down like I like it to, and kind of gave me a little nice bottom test. DRMA, it came down, but I mean, is it really worth the retracement with the size candles that it's giving? Let's see. First one was 371 down to 313, so it's about 60 cents. 295 up to 327. So smaller and smaller candles here. 335 down to 288, and now 302 down to 272. And it's just getting less and less worth it, especially with it breaking down this indecision level and not getting a good bounce out of there, and losing to some of these other ones. So Tesla up 56 million. I mean, who's competing with it? We got these 30,000 ones, but it's just not a lot of competition. And it just doesn't make sense for the higher floats to be winning. Well, it makes sense that they're winning on the day. It cycles, but it doesn't make sense to try to push it on these low floats if something else is taking over on the day. Even if it's doing I mean, Tesla is down and it's still got more volume than all of these. Let's look at the SPY. SPY continuing down as well. That's why the Tesla is following the SPY. This is a obvious short on Tesla. People have shorted this thing from the 177, $5 down, following the SPY. It's just too obvious for people not to take notice. Anyway, I'm not going to watch these anymore. None of these are set up like I like them, so I will be back next week on Monday morning. And if you're going to continue trading, be careful. Have a great weekend. And as always, I will see you guys Wait, let me read this. Okay, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.